didn't create anybody to become poor, and God didn't create anybody to become rich. You will become rich if you want.
When you fail, it does not mean that you must quit. All that is important is that you must accept the failure. That is something which is not bad, and that it is something which is enabling you to know your weaknesses, learn your lessons, and then you bounce back.
To learn from your failure, we should be prepared to take responsibility of our failures. If we can be able to not say that, well, I did this one, that is why that I failed, but not some devil sitting somewhere, but not some witches sitting somewhere, then we will be able to know to have solution to our failure.
So from today, change your mind from seeing yourself as a mistake. And when you make mistakes, don't be down, rather be excited about the mistake you've made, for out of it, many discoveries can be made.
If you fail to work and idle about, and all you do is to gossip around, you will become poor, no matter how spiritual you are. Dear viewers, welcome to Time with Abundant Grace, the media ministry of Abundant Grace Academy and Abundant Grace Christian Center. Beloved, God richly bless you for tuning into this program, which is educative, informative, and inspirational. Time with Abundant Grace. Cherished viewers, let's join the students of Abundant Grace Academy for their Friday's leadership, personal, and motivational seminar. Time with Abundant Grace. The topic for discussion and presentation this morning is no excuse for failure. Stay with us and you'll be inspired, challenged, and motivated for good works. For we believe in Abundant Grace Academy that it's never too late to be what you might have been. God bless you. Thank you. No more excuses for failure. My dear friends, this morning I'm here to encourage you to stop giving excuses for non-performance. Since no one can be successful if he or she is an expert in giving excuses and blaming others for his or her failures. Until you stop making excuses and stop shifting blame, you can never be highly successful in anything. Dear friends, mistakes have hidden powers to help us, but they fail in their mission of helping us when we blame them on others. Mark Twain once said, and I quote, "There are 1,000 excuses for failure, but never a good reason." And he or she who is good at making excuses is seldom good at anything. Beloved, you may have been hurt or abused in the past. Well, we all sympathize with you, but it is still not a tangible reason or excuse for failure or non-performance in this life. The best way forward is to overcome that inner injury and go on with your life. Because whatever you faced in the past, you have the potential to overcome it. For he who dwells on the past and does not look forward remains behind or is left behind in this life. Dear listeners, don't use the painful past as an excuse for failure in this year. Your limitations and challenges should rather be a guideline and not a substance for you on the way to success. Let your past rather be a catalyst and say to yourself, never again. My dear friends, in this year, find a way to make things happen and not an excuse for non-performance. Because people who really want to do something significant in this life always find a way to do so. While others who are fond of giving excuses end up doing nothing and achieve nothing. Dear friends, let us have the attitude of the friends of the paralyzed man in Luke chapter 5, verse 18 to 20. The head of Jesus Christ, the healer, who has come to town, and they carried their friend who was lame on a mat to go and put him in front of Jesus, for Jesus to lay hands on him to heal him. Now they got to the house where Jesus was, and the whole place was crowded. There was no way to go in. They could have said that we have risen and we have an excuse. The place is crowded, there's no way. So we send our sick brother or friend back home, disappointed. But they look for a way. This year, if there seems to be no way, make one. But we serve a God who make a way where there seems to be no way. When they couldn't find a way through the door, they look at the rooftop and say, we could not go through the door. We'll go up. They remove the roof and the ceiling and let their friend down through the roof into the presence of Jesus. Jesus saw their faith and held their friend. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know your challenges. But when you meet mountains in your way, if you cannot go over it, you can go beside it. If you cannot go beside it, go through it. In any way, find a way. Make a way. Don't stand behind closed doors and complain and give excuses why the doors are closed. There may be other special doors that are open, but because you stand behind the closed doors and weep and complain and give excuses, you may not even find the other doors that are open to you. For God make a way where there seems to be no way. Put your hands together for the Lord. My dear friends, essentially, there are two actions in life, namely performance and excuse for non-performance. People who make things happen never make excuses. And even under the worst of circumstances, including suffering from major disabilities, discipline themselves and perform because they know that disability is not an inability. Helen Keller was deaf-blind at the age of 18. She was deaf, dumb, and blind, which is called deaf blindness. But didn't use her multiple disabilities as an excuse for non-performance, but overcame her severe disabilities and studied and had a doctorate degree, wrote 27 books, and lectured at colleges in the US. A woman who was blind, deaf, and dumb at the early age of 18 months. Beloved, you have no excuse for failure and non-performance. You having all your faculties intact and functioning, your ears, your eyes, you can speak. What are you doing with your life? Another important and significant example is my friend, Dr. Dana. Reputable lawyer at the Ministry of Chieftaincy. Dr. Dana became visually impaired at childhood, at the age of 3. Attended the Kropon School for the Blind. Went to Okwapman Secondary School as a blind boy. Came to University of Ghana, Legon. Did law and went to law school. And graduated and was called at bar as the first blind man to become a lawyer in this country. And was employed at the Attorney General and later to the Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs. You have no excuse if all your 2 eyes can see and read. You are still making excuse for your failure. Beloved, with determination and faith, you can also do something. Put your hands together for the Lord. My dear friends, note that 99% of failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. 99%. So always remember that failures are experts at making excuses. You do away with the habit of giving excuses henceforth. My dear friends, all through this year, do all you can to avoid giving excuses. Do all you can to find a way to make things happen, and they will happen for you. Don't be like Moses in the Bible in Exodus chapter 4 verse 10, who complained and gave excuses for being a stammerer and not being eloquent and slow of speech, when God wanted to use him for great things. God called him as a deliverer to come and lead the people of Israel from Egypt in bondage to the promised land. All that Moses said, Lord, I'm a stammerer. I cannot speak well. I am not eloquent. I am not able. I am not suitable. Look for someone else. He had a low self-esteem. He didn't believe in himself. But God rebuked him and encouraged him. And he later led the people of Israel from bondage to the promised land. Never complain and never explain why you fail to do what you must do. Just accept that you erred and humbly learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat same mistakes. Let me remind you of Dr. William Mayo's prayer. He said, Lord, deliver me from the man who don't make mistakes, and also from the man who makes the same mistakes twice. So when you make a mistake, it is not a mistake. But to be a mistake when you make the same mistakes twice and you don't learn from your mistakes and continue making the same mistakes, then you are really a mistake. Now, everybody can make mistakes, but when you err, to err is human. When you err, you go wrong, you make mistakes. Sit down and learn from your mistakes. Learn your lessons, become a better person, and don't make those mistakes again. Go on and improve in your life. Swami Sivananda also said, and I quote, do not brood over your past mistakes and failures, as they will only fill your mind with grief, regret, and depression. Learn from your mistakes and do not repeat them in future. Mistakes have hidden powers to help us, but they fail in their mission of helping us when we blame them on others. Therefore, this year, stop making excuses and blaming others for your failures and non-performance. You can make mistakes, but you are not a mistake. You can fail, but you are not a failure. So long as you learn from your failures, you learn from your mistakes, improve and become a better person. Stop making excuses. Stop shifting blame on your uncle, your father, your MP, your president, bad circumstances. Accept responsibility. Take your destiny into your hands and do something with your life, and you will succeed. Stay blessed and be highly favored. Shalom.
Here are only a few reasons why you should study at Abundant Grace Academy. Students are taught 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. One-on-one customized tuition. Fully air-conditioned computer lab with internet access. Subjects include science, general arts, visual arts, and business. Abundant Grace Academy has full-time SHS 1, 2, 3 as well as remedials for holistic educational and human development. Call Abundant Grace Academy on 0302-257-426 or 0302-257-427 or 027-07-00015.
Locate Abundant Grace Academy at Adabraka near the PTC building.
Knowledge is power, but the word of God is divine. Reverend Charles Ansah gives you knowledge built on God's word and divine wisdom, providing inspiration and motivation to make you a winner in the race of life. His works include The Awesome Power of Forgiveness, Golden Keys for Winning, Plan to Win, Count It All Joy, Time and Opportunity. You can turn failure into success, and over 20 other titles to inspire you to success. take the right steps. Get your copies from Abundant Grace Academy, Abundant Grace Christian Center at Adabraka, Accra Mall, Steps to Christ Kanishi, Challenge Bookshop, and all leading bookshops, or call 020-812-8918 or 027-561-6017.
Viewers, welcome back to Time with Abundant Grace, your motivational and inspirational program. We're coming to the second segment of our program where we'll receive comments from experienced and knowledgeable people. The first person to give us the comment is Reverend Claude Mann, an author, a pastor, and a whole lot of things he does. Put your hands together for Reverend Claude Mann. Welcome him up to. You're welcome, Reverend.
As the presenter was speaking, I noted some few things and I want to speak about on this subject of excuses. We all make excuses. Anyone who doesn't make an excuse one way or the other is not a human being. But it is not good for you to be a chronic excuse giver, a person who is always giving excuse for what you do. I want to come with some 5 points as to why people give excuses and then cure for those 5 points. People make excuses based on some of these reasons. One, the background history, where the person is coming from. I will explain it briefly. The next point is fear. People make a lot of excuses because of fear. Also, people make a lot of excuses because they lack vision and perspective of life. 4, people make a lot of excuses because they lack what we call sense of responsibility. And then my last point is people make excuses because they lack self-motivation. Now, when I talk about history or background, what I mean is where you grew up. If you grew up in a home where every day you hear your parents or your guardians or the people you live with always giving excuses, you tend to internalize that and you end up also become somebody who keeps on giving excuses. So check yourself. Why do I give excuses? Where you come from plays a major role. For you to overcome that, you must take a firm stand that from today going, I take full charge of my life, because every mistake I make is not for somebody else, but it's for myself. When you're able to take that stand, you'll be able to overcome wherever you come from and what you learned from them that makes you give excuses. Number 2, fear. Fear is what makes you unable to think of moving forward. There's a verse in the book of Proverbs that says that a lazy person says that I cannot go outside there because there's a lion waiting for me. And many people who give excuses, that's the picture. They exaggerate the world and their problems, and a little problem becomes a mountain. If you are of that habit, I want to assure you this morning, you can overcome it. And how to overcome it is to bring in what we call faith. Faith comes in and fear goes out. Faith simply means I believe that I can, and therefore I will do. Start it small. You may fail as you do it, but with time you see that your faith will grow, and very soon things that you used to fear, you can now be able to do them, and by that you'll be able to stop giving excuses. So faith will answer for your fears for making excuses. Then number 3, lack of vision or perspective. Vision is simply seeing the tomorrow that you are expecting to get there. Picture of what is ahead of you. There are many people who make a lot of excuses because they do not know what they could have done if they didn't make excuses. So for you to be able to overcome that, you have to be able to develop a sense of purpose, knowing that I don't have all the time on this earth on my hands. The little time that I have, if I'm able to see who I am and what I want and begin to act today and not postpone what I will have to do today to tomorrow, you'll be able to overcome the habit of excuse giving. So have a sense of purpose. Know who you are and know that there are some things, if you don't do it today, tomorrow may be too late. So you take the action today, and as you continue doing it, you develop a habit that will help you to overcome giving of excuses. Lack of sense of responsibility. A responsible person is the one who says that this mistake, I made it, and therefore it is up to me to correct it. But people who are fond of giving excuses often shift blame. Well, it's not me. The teacher didn't teach well. Even there was light off. It rained. My friend took my textbook. So because of that, we give several excuses for why we fail. But for you to be able to overcome that, you must have the ability to manage your life. Tell yourself that if it is going to be, it is up to me. When you take responsibility of your life and begin to say that I want to do what I have to do at the right time, with time you'll be able to overcome the habit of giving excuses, and you will shift from failure to success. God bless you.
Put your hands together for Reverend Claude Mann. If it's going to be, it's up to me. And if your life is going to be, it's up to you. Take your whole destiny into your hands. Be responsible for your life. And don't shift blame for your failure and non-performance. And you will succeed. Put your hands together once again. We welcome Pastor Ken Podo, a pastor with Winners Chapel, Ghana, and a graduate of University of Ghana, and married with a kid. Put your hands together for Pastor Ken Podo.
No excuse for failure. Excuse is defined as a reason that one gives for an unexpected outcome. Any reason that you give for any result that you least expected is what one calls an excuse. And it does not matter how powerful or how acceptable your excuse may be, it does not produce the necessary results. Giving excuse is more of an attitude thing. One gives excuses, one because of lack of discipline. And as we've heard, also for fear of failure. One gives excuse as a result of lack of resources. Because I do not have this kind of resources available, that is why I'm not able to produce the kind of results that is expected of me. Yes, for one to produce a result that is acceptable, it depends on a lot of factors, and there are some of the components that comes from others. And so if the component or the factors that are coming from others are not given as expected, we think that we have a reason for the non-performance. But I want you to know that even God and the society is looking up to you for the right results. So it is absolutely up to you. Because others do not have that kind of support or resources, and yet they have produced the necessary results. So for you to deal with this kind of excuses, one, you must accept it. Two, you must see the positive side of life. Every event or everything under this planet has two sides. Everything has a positive side and a negative side. Everything under this planet has a positive side and a negative side. It depends on which side you focus your attention. If you press the negative buttons, certainly negative outcomes will come. And if you press the positive button, then you will get the same result. So learn from your mistakes, pursue excellence, and then also be disciplined. Thank you, and God richly bless you.
Oh, do it better for Pastor Ken Podo. Dear viewers, thank you for watching Time with Abundant Grace. I hope you've been inspired, challenged, and motivated for good works. Beloved, if you don't make effort to update yourself, you will become outdated. If you are not inspired, you will expire in a short time. If you don't make effort to appreciate in knowledge, you will depreciate in life. If you don't get information for transformation, you experience a deformation in your life. Dear friends, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Change the way you think to change your life. You are not a failure. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake on earth. You are unique. You are peculiar. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. My dear friends, you can make it. It is possible, no matter how difficult it looks. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And it is not over till you succeed. It's never too late to be what you might have been. And it's never too late for God to turn your situation around. See you at the same time on the same TV channel. Time with Abundant Grace. Stay blessed and be highly favored. Shalom. God didn't create anybody to become poor. And God didn't create anybody to become rich. You will become rich if you want.
When you fail, it does not mean that you must quit. All that is important is that you must accept the failure. That is something which is not bad, and that it is something which is enabling you to know your weaknesses, learn your lessons, and then you bounce back.
To learn from your failure, we should be prepared to take responsibility of our failures. If we can be able to not say that, well, I did this one, that is why that I failed, but not some devil sitting somewhere, but not some witches sitting somewhere, then we will be able to know to have solution to our failure.
So from today, change your mind from seeing yourself as a mistake. And when you make mistakes, don't be down. Rather, be excited about the mistake you've made, for out of it, many discoveries can be made.
If you fail to work and idle about, and all you do is to gossip around, you will become poor, no matter how spiritual you are.